Welcome back. You're still tuned into Market Fatafat right here on ET Now, and it is turning out to be a soft Monday for Indian equity markets. Nifty is now sitting with a cut of about 0.3% as we speak, and we've given up all of those morning gains. Nifty Bank, that index in fact is down nearly 1% in trade today. In terms of individual sectors, on the losing side, we have a couple of FMCG stocks which are under pressure today. We have something like Dabur, that stock is down 3.5%. Colgate, Tata Consumer Products, HUL, all of them have been declining in trade today. But let's put the spotlight on the auto sector. Nifty Auto Index is also sitting with a cut of 1%. It's the first day of the brunt, which means we have auto sales data which have already started trickling in. And so far, Hyundai, that company has missed street expectations. But on the flip side, from the passenger vehicle segment, we have Tata Motors, PV, M&M. All of them have reported strong growth. In fact, M&M Auto has reported growth of about 18% on a year-on-year basis. Maruti has reported a strong growth of about 35% on a year-on-year basis in the month of April. But let's delve deeper into this. We now have Veejay Nakra, President Farm Equipment Business, Mahindra & Mahindra, who is now joining us. Mr. Nakra, afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. And first up, let's talk about domestic tractor sales, because that has risen by about 23% in the month of May, while you had guided for 5% industry growth. Is it time to revise your guidance upward?
Medium single-digit industry growth that we had put out earlier was for the full year, whereas the 23% growth is for the month of May. I think as we are aware that there are certain headwinds on the horizon, as well as the second half of last year had a very, very strong performance with over a 30% growth. So I think we still hold on to our view that for the year, the average growth would be medium single digit, but quarter one for the year will be a very strong performance. And we had said that even earlier, that quarter one comes from a low base effect of last year. A lot of the headwinds that we see coming into this year have still not played out. A lot of benefit of the structural change in GST has flown into the first quarter of this financial year. So I think there are a lot of positives that have played out in the first quarter of the year, including a very strong cash flow in the hands of farmers because of the Rabi harvest, strong summer crop, which is 3% up over last year. Reservoir levels are strong. So quarter one was expected to be a very strong performance.
Let's also talk about Rabi harvesting, which drove the growth for the month of May. But El Nino risk kicks in for the period August to September. That's the second and third quarter. How much of this momentum is seasonal, and how sustainable is it as we head into Kharif season?
I think we'll have to wait and see what happens or what is the effect of El Nino. I just wanted to share some data points with you that, if you look at the last almost 50 years, we've had 16 El Nino years, and out of that, there were only 11 where we had seen an impact of El Nino on the tractor industry. So I think there are multiple other variables that play out which determine the impact of El Nino. So I think we need to wait and watch. It includes what is the rainfall distribution, what is the timing, which are the affected areas of El Nino, how does the Indian Ocean dipole play out. So I think some of these factors are yet to be seen, the impact of what happens. Also, I think the government is sort of preempted the impact of El Nino, and they've taken significant measures. For example, the 40,000 crores plus of subsidy to contain the input cost of inflation for farmers on fertilizers, the subsidy, the availability of seeds to address weather change patterns, crop diversification, early announcement of MSP on 14 Kharif crops so that the farmers align on sowing those as crop, especially given that these crops have been chosen keeping the weather pattern in mind. So I think we have to see the effect of all of this to play out before we can really sort of determine that El Nino's impact is going to be severe for the year. But we do keep that in mind that yes, El Nino is a kind of a headwind that the industry will face. And hence we are saying that quarter one will be very, very strong, which is where in any case 40% of the industry sale happens till July, rather. Till July, about 40% of industry sale happens. And then so the El Nino impact is going to start coming in the second half, and we will need to see how that plays out, especially given that a lot of measures have been taken to sort of contain the impact of El Nino.
Understood. So that's as far as the forecast for the upcoming monsoon season is concerned, and what kind of impact is it likely to have on your operations. But let's also talk about exports then, and that saw a growth of just about 7% in the month of May. What are the three, you are present in three international markets, US, Brazil and Turkey, which are still seeing some bit of slowdown. When do you expect them to recover, and what kind of outlook do you have when it comes to export market?
So, firstly, out of the three, it's more the US and Turkey which have seen significant impact. I think uh, the US market on a full year financial basis last year had a decline of about 6.5%. Our understanding, well, April was, and our understanding May is also a little slow. Turkey has seen a far more significant impact to the tune of 40% reduction in the industry, and that still continues in this year. Brazil, on the other hand, has not been as impacted as compared to these two markets. We continue to do well and gain share compared to the previous year in these markets. So I think we're going to have to see how the year plays out. I think we've got significantly higher confidence in terms of the overall industry in Brazil will probably play out stronger, but we yet need to see US and Turkey specifically. But as I mentioned, we are gaining share there, even in a situation where the market has degrown, and we clearly have our actions in place on what we intend to do to consolidate our positions in these markets in F27.
And what is the sentiment when it comes to demand on ground, whether it is farmers or dealers? What is the sentiment looking like? Are they buying, or is there a wait and watch mode when it comes to demand environment?
Well, I think firstly, the numbers of April and May speak for themselves. So a lot of farmers have bought. But yes, I think at least in the last few days of the month, in the last 3, 4 days of the month, we picked up a little bit of sentiment where some of the farmers are very keen and eager to buy. So I don't think it's an issue of demand. It's just a matter of timing of when the rain starts. So some of them are waiting to see the first showers come in. So they have kind of confirmed their purchase. They've locked in what they want to buy. It's a matter of the rains coming in and then deliveries of those tractors happening to these customers. So I think there's a little bit of wait and watch till the rains come in. But like I said, at least for the first season, where 40% of industry sales happen till July, we are seeing demand sustaining.
Understood. So that's as far as demand is concerned. But what will your growth outlook be for the upcoming year in terms of top line growth and volume growth that you're penciling in?
Well, we stay to what we had said, which is a medium single digit growth. Let's see how the rest of the year plays out before we change that number.
Okay, so middle single digit growth is what you're factoring in and guiding for. But as far as tractor margins are concerned, they held at about 20.8% in a high growth year. If industry growth slows to say 5% or sub 5% mark, where will margins settle?
Of course, there are multiple levers that play out when you talk about margins. Well, we are kind of aware of the commodity prices this year have been strong, especially steel, rubber, and precious metals, and the flow through of that into castings, forgings, tires, etc. So we are keeping a very close watch on how commodity prices are playing out. We kind of keep visiting the pricing decision from time to time. So uh, as you would be aware, we've already taken a price increase of about 10,000 rupees in April, which is about 1.7%. So, depending on how the rest of the year plays out, we will kind of look at our levers of cost versus, how much of the commodity increase cost we can pass on to the customer. So it is dynamic, and we are keeping a very close watch on margins going forward. But by and large, they would be range bound.
Okay, so the situation is very dynamic, especially with expectations of El Nino this year. We don't know where the situation is headed. But Mr. Nakra, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. So that's as far as auto sales are concerned. We've already seen quite a few companies from the auto sector reporting auto sales for the month of May. Meanwhile, let's also take a look at what the market is doing, and we've extended some of those losses because now Nifty is sitting with a cut of 0.4% as we speak. And the Nifty Bank, last time when we checked the market, it was down 0.9%. The fall has accelerated further, 550 points shaved off for the Nifty Banking Index. In terms of individual sectors, IT is the only sector which is trading with some amount of gains in trade today. Nifty IT Index, that index is up 3.5%. And other than that, metals are seeing some bit of profitability in trade today. But on the losing side, FMCG, PSU, banks, defense, all of them declining in excess of 1.5% in trade today. But that's all the time we have on this edition of the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Closing trades will come up next.